Welcome back to Narcissism Freedom. And if this is your first time here, I'm so glad your journey brought you to this space. Whether you're healing from a toxic relationship, rediscovering your purpose, or simply holding on by faith, you are not alone. This channel was created to be a gentle reminder that even in the darkest seasons, God has not forgotten you. Sometimes, the most sacred transformation happens when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. But even when nothing makes sense, God is still making a way. When life feels confusing and uncertain, it's natural to want answers. You may find yourself asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Or "When will this season end?" But some of the greatest breakthroughs are born in silence, in the stillness, in the waiting. When everything around you looks like chaos and you can't trace what God is doing, that's when trust becomes your greatest weapon. Trust is not blind. Trust is rooted in the belief that something greater is at work, even when your eyes can't see it yet. Many of us have walked through fire, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically, feeling like we were being punished or abandoned. But looking back, those painful moments were often divine preparation. You weren't being destroyed. You were being refined. You were being separated from what no longer served your calling. And even though it hurt, God was pruning you for growth, trimming what was dead, and creating space for something new to blossom. If you've ever felt like you lost everything, your identity, your confidence, your voice, please know that God can restore it all. And not only restore it, but multiply it. Sometimes the breaking is what unlocks the blessing. When you hit rock bottom, you realize God is the rock at the bottom. That's when you start to rebuild, not from a place of fear, but from faith. You begin to realize that not everything falling apart is a curse. Some things fall apart so the truth can be revealed, so your purpose can rise from the rubble, so the illusions can be cleared away. Trusting the process doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It means surrendering to a path you may not understand, but knowing in your heart that it's leading somewhere sacred. God never wastes pain. He uses it to mold your character, to deepen your wisdom, to sharpen your discernment. He uses it to clear your path of people and patterns that were keeping you stuck. What you thought was a setback was actually a setup for alignment, for truth, for power, and for peace that passes all understanding. When you're healing from narcissistic abuse, it can be especially hard to trust. You may have been gaslit, manipulated, and made to feel like your intuition was wrong. So naturally, trusting again, even trusting God, can feel scary. But I want to affirm something deep in your spirit today. God sees what you've endured, even when others don't. He knows how deeply you've been hurt, how long you've been crying, and how hard you're trying to move forward. And He is with you in it, not just watching from a distance, but walking beside you, often carrying you when your strength runs out. The process may not look pretty. It rarely does. Healing is messy. Growth is uncomfortable. Letting go hurts. But that doesn't mean you're failing. In fact, it often means you're right where you need to be. When nothing makes sense and everything feels confusing, pause and remember this. Confusion is not the absence of God. It's the stretching of your faith. It's your soul learning to listen beyond logic. It's your spirit learning to rely not on sight, but on trust. God often does His greatest work in silence, behind the scenes, in the invisible. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Think about seeds planted in the soil. For weeks, sometimes months, there's no sign of life above the surface. But deep underground, transformation is taking place. Roots are spreading. Foundations are being laid. Strength is being built where no one can see it. And when the time is right, that little seed pushes through and reaches for the light. That's what's happening in you. Quietly. Powerfully, on divine timing. If you've been in a season where doors keep closing, people keep leaving, or nothing seems to be working, trust that this is not rejection. It's redirection. Sometimes God has to isolate you to elevate you, not to punish you, but to protect what He's planting inside of you. He can't let certain people come with you into the next season. He can't let old mindsets ruin what He's about to release. That's why it feels like loss. But it's not loss. It's alignment. It's grace in disguise. There's a scripture that says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That's not always easy, especially when your understanding is screaming for answers. But peace doesn't come from knowing everything. Peace comes from knowing who holds everything. Peace comes from choosing to believe that God's plan is still in motion, even when your plans have completely fallen apart. You don't have to be perfect to receive God's guidance. You just have to be willing. Willing to trust. Willing to release. Willing to believe again, even with a broken heart. Willing to let go of the timeline you thought you needed and embrace the unfolding of divine timing. Every delay has a reason. Every detour has a purpose. And every step, even the painful ones, are leading you closer to the healing and clarity your soul longs for. So breathe. Even if all you can do today is survive, that's enough. Healing takes time. Trusting again takes courage. And rebuilding your life after narcissistic abuse takes faith like never before. But every day you choose to show up, to reflect, to pray, to rest, to release, that's a victory. You don't need all the answers to move forward. Just a little faith. Just a little trust. Because even when it seems like nothing's working, God is still working. You are not alone on this journey. So many others are walking a similar path, learning how to love themselves again, how to hear God's voice again, and how to live without fear. And you are one of them. You are rising, slowly, sacredly, and in your own divine time. This moment right now, even if it's quiet and still, is holy ground. The confusion will pass. The clarity will come. And when it does, you'll look back and realize God never left. He was guiding you the whole way through. If you feel led to support the growth and awareness of this channel, the details are listed in the description below. Your support helps us continue creating messages of healing, empowerment, and spiritual truth for those who need it most. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help this message reach more hearts who are ready to heal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting the process. And most of all, thank you for choosing yourself again. You are walking toward freedom, one brave step at a time.